The clock says 3:17 a.m. The room is dark and quiet, but your heart is already beating a little faster than it should be. There's that familiar heaviness behind your eyes. Not quite pain, just pressure. Your mouth is dry. The sheets feel too warm. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, and your mind, which was perfectly still an hour ago, is suddenly running through every unfinished thought you had last Tuesday. You didn't set an alarm, nothing woke you, and yet here you are, wide awake, in the middle of the night, again. You glance at your phone, 3:22 a.m. You sigh, you roll over. You know sleep isn't coming back easily. Sound familiar? Here's what I want you to understand right now. This is not a sleep problem. Your body isn't broken, it's communicating. Think of it like a warning light on your car's dashboard. Not the annoying one you've been ignoring for 6 months, but the new one, the urgent one, flashing in the dark. Your body has a message it's been trying to deliver during the day, but you've been too busy to receive it. So it waits until 3 a.m. when everything is quiet and it knocks. The question isn't how to make it stop. The question is, what is it trying to tell you? I'm Dr. Chima Okoye, and I spent over 2 decades practicing internal medicine before dedicating my work to helping adults over 60 understand what their bodies are actually saying, not in medical jargon, in plain language you can use. Before we get into this, go ahead and hit subscribe right now, because next week I am covering something that genuinely stopped me when I reviewed the research. A specific pattern in how certain blood pressure medications interact with your sleep architecture in ways that your prescribing doctor may not have flagged, and the signs you can look for starting tonight. You'll want to be here for that. But right now, let's decode your 3 a.m. Today, we're walking through 5 specific reasons your body might be waking you at 3 a.m. We'll cover each one carefully with real science and real patient stories. And next week, we'll go deeper into one of the most overlooked causes of all, something connected to a hormone most doctors stop checking after age 50. Stay with me. Let's start with the one most people never suspect: cortisol dysregulation. Not stress in the way we usually talk about it, not "I have a lot on my plate." I mean an actual shift in your body's internal hormone timing that becomes extremely common after 60 and that almost nobody talks about during a routine checkup. I'll be honest with you, this is something I miss with patients early in my career because we weren't trained to look for it in older adults. Here's the biology, simply put. Cortisol is your body's natural wake-up hormone. Normally, it starts rising slowly around 4 or 5 a.m., like a dimmer switch turning on the lights before sunrise. But as we age, that timing can shift. The switch starts flipping earlier, sometimes as early as 3 a.m., flooding your system with alertness signals before your body is ready to be awake. The result? You're not waking because something is wrong in the traditional sense. You're waking because your internal clock has drifted forward, and it's sounding reveille an hour too soon. A 2019 study published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology found that cortisol awakening response patterns shift significantly in adults over 60, with earlier and more abrupt morning cortisol spikes directly correlated with nighttime waking between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. This isn't rare, it's predictable, and it's treatable. I had a patient, Stephanie, 67 years old, a retired school teacher from outside Columbus. She had been waking at 3:15 a.m. every single night for almost 2 years. She was exhausted. She had tried melatonin, chamomile tea, even a new mattress. Nothing helped. When we tested her cortisol rhythm, we found her morning spike was arriving nearly 90 minutes earlier than it should. We adjusted her evening routine: no overhead lighting after 8 p.m., a 15-minute outdoor walk in the morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. Within 3 weeks, Stephanie was sleeping until 5 a.m. Small changes, real results. Your action step. For 1 week, try getting direct morning sunlight outside, not through a window, within 30 minutes of waking up. This helps anchor your cortisol rhythm to the correct time. It costs nothing. It takes 10 minutes, and it works. Now let's talk about the second cause, and this one surprises people every time I bring it up. Nighttime acid reflux, specifically the silent kind. Most people think acid reflux means heartburn, that burning feeling in your chest after a big meal. And yes, that's one version. But there's another version that arrives quietly, usually between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. without any burning at all. Instead, you wake up suddenly. Your throat might feel slightly tight. You have a vague sense of unease, almost like anxiety. You might not even connect it to your stomach because nothing hurts. That's why doctors miss it constantly. Here's what's happening. When you lie flat for several hours, the valve between your stomach and your esophagus, think of it as a one-way door, can relax more than it should. Stomach acid creeps upward. In some people, it reaches the throat or even the airway, triggering a protective waking reflex. Your body pulls you out of sleep to protect your airway. You never feel the burn. You just wake up confused at 3 a.m. A 2020 study in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology confirmed that nocturnal reflux events peak between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. in older adults, and that a significant portion occur without any reported heartburn sensation. My patient Harry, 71, a former contractor, had been waking nightly for months. No heartburn, no obvious symptoms. It was silent reflux, confirmed with a simple pH monitoring test. Elevating the head of his bed by just 6 inches changed everything. Your action step. Try elevating the head of your bed with bed risers, not extra pillows. Pillows bend your neck and can make reflux worse. Risers lift the entire upper body correctly. Now, which of these two causes surprised you most? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. Here's the third cause, and this one is happening inside millions of bodies right now without a single symptom during the day. Chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, when most people hear inflammation, they picture a swollen ankle or a red, angry wound. But there's a quieter kind, invisible, painless, slow burning that lives deep in your tissues for years without announcing itself. And here's the part that connects directly to 3 a.m. Your body releases its highest levels of inflammatory messengers called cytokines. Think of them as tiny alarm sirens circulating through your bloodstream in the hours just before dawn. For most younger, healthier bodies, this early morning cytokine peak is mild and brief. But when chronic inflammation is already present, that peak becomes a flood. And that flood pulls you out of sleep. A 2017 study published in Brain, Behavior, and Immunity found that elevated nighttime cytokine activity, particularly interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, was significantly associated with fragmented sleep and early morning waking in older adults. This is established science, and it's almost never discussed in a 15-minute annual checkup. My patient Dolores, 64, a retired postal worker, came to me exhausted and frustrated. She had mild arthritis, well managed, she thought, and assumed her 3 a.m. waking was just aging. When we looked deeper, her inflammatory markers were quietly elevated. We addressed her diet, reduced her processed food intake, and added a short evening walk. Within a month, her sleep improved noticeably. Not perfect, but meaningfully better. Your action step. Ask your doctor to check your CRP level. That stands for C-reactive protein, a simple blood marker for inflammation. Just knowing your number is the beginning. Now here's one that cardiologists know about, but rarely explain to you directly, and it has everything to do with the pressure inside your arteries while you sleep. Your blood pressure is not constant. It rises and falls throughout the day on a natural rhythm. During healthy sleep, it should dip, dropping roughly 10 to 20% as your body rests and repairs. Doctors call this the dipping pattern, but in many adults over 60, particularly those with early hypertension or kidney changes, that nighttime dip disappears entirely. Instead of falling, blood pressure stays elevated or even rises in the early morning hours. Your heart and vessels are working hard when they should be resting. And that physical strain, subtle but real, like an engine running at highway speed while the car sits in your driveway, can trigger waking between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. A 2021 review in the journal Hypertension confirmed that non-dipping blood pressure patterns are more prevalent in older adults and are independently associated with nighttime arousal and poor sleep architecture. Here's the honest admission I want to make, because I believe you deserve it. Medication timing for blood pressure is almost never discussed during doctor visits. Most prescriptions default to morning dosing, but for people with non-dipping patterns, taking at least one blood pressure medication in the evening can make a significant difference, both for cardiovascular protection and for sleep. Studies support this. Most doctors just don't bring it up. My patient Raymond, 69, a former bus driver with well-controlled hypertension, had been waking every night at 3:30 a.m. for over a year. No pain, no urgency, just wide awake. We ordered an ambulatory blood pressure monitor, which tracks your pressure continuously over 24 hours. His nighttime readings were consistently elevated. We shifted one of his medications to bedtime. Within 6 weeks, Raymond told me he had slept through the night for the first time in recent memory. Your action step. Ask your doctor specifically whether your blood pressure has ever been measured during sleep. If not, ask about a 24-hour monitor, and ask whether your current medication timing has been reviewed recently. Now we arrive at the fifth cause, and this one is frequently missed, especially in one group I want to speak to directly in just a moment. Your thyroid gland sits at the front of your neck and governs your metabolism, the speed at which your entire body runs. When it becomes even slightly overactive, a condition called subclinical hyperthyroidism, meaning it doesn't yet show obvious symptoms, it can quietly raise your heart rate, increase your core body temperature, and activate your nervous system at exactly the wrong time of night. Think of it as someone secretly turning up the thermostat in your house while you're trying to sleep. You don't see anyone, you don't hear anything, you just wake up warm, restless, and wired at 3 a.m. A 2018 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that subclinical hyperthyroidism was independently associated with sleep disturbances and nighttime waking, particularly in adults over 60. Now here's what I need you to hear. Women over 60 are disproportionately affected by thyroid irregularities of all kinds, and subclinical hyperthyroidism is frequently overlooked because the TSH, that's the thyroid stimulating hormone number on your blood panel, can appear borderline rather than obviously abnormal. If you are a woman in your 60s or 70s and you have been waking at 3 a.m. with a sense of inner restlessness, a slightly elevated heart rate, or warmth that doesn't seem connected to anything obvious, please do not let this one go unchecked. My patient Vivian, 62, a retired librarian, had been dismissed twice before she came to me. Her TSH was technically within range, barely. When we ran a full thyroid panel, the picture became clear. With proper treatment, her 3 a.m. waking stopped within 2 months. Your action step. Request a full thyroid panel, not just TSH, but free T3 and free T4 as well. One number alone does not tell the whole story. If any of these 5 causes resonated with you, tell me which one in the comments. Your story might help someone else finally get the answer they've been searching for. Now that you know what might be happening, let's talk about what you can actually do, starting today. The first step is for your liver. Ask your doctor for a liver function panel, specifically ALT and AST enzyme levels, alongside a fasting insulin test. These 2 tests together can reveal whether your liver is working overtime in the early morning hours. Print this out if you need to. Liver enzymes, fasting insulin. Bring it to your next appointment and ask directly. The second step is for your cortisol rhythm. Commit to 10 minutes of direct morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking, outside, not through glass. At night, dim your lights after 8 p.m. and avoid bright screens. This combination acts as a reset signal for your body's internal clock. It costs nothing. It's available to you tomorrow morning. The third step is for inflammation. Call your doctor's office and request a CRP test, C-reactive protein, on your next blood draw. While you're waiting for results, Take one concrete dietary step. Remove one processed or fried food from your daily routine this week. Not everything, one thing. Small, consistent changes in inflammation take time, but they are real. The fourth step is for your blood pressure rhythm. Ask your doctor whether you have ever had a 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitor, the kind you wear for a full day and night. If not, ask for one. And ask specifically whether your current medication schedule has been reviewed for nighttime dosing. Do not adjust your medication on your own. This conversation must happen with your doctor, but you have every right to start it. The fifth step is something you can do tonight before any test results come back. Lower the temperature in your bedroom to between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Put your phone face down across the room, not on your nightstand. If you wake at 3 a.m., do not check the time. Looking at a clock activates the same mental alertness response as an alarm. Cover it if you have to. These three things alone, cool room, distant phone, covered clock, can meaningfully reduce the severity of nighttime waking regardless of the underlying cause. Here is what I want you to carry with you. Your body is not failing you at 3 a.m. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do, flagging a signal, asking for attention, waiting for you to listen. The 5 causes we covered today are not a life sentence. They are a starting point. You now know more than most people walking out of a standard checkup. That knowledge belongs to you. If you learned something new today, you are even missing out on more free health tips on my Telegram channel. The link is in description. I drop free health tips for adults over 60 every day. Now I want to hear from you. Type one word in the comments that matches the cause you think might be yours. Type clock if cortisol rhythm resonated. Type fire if inflammation felt familiar. Type pressure if blood pressure rhythm spoke to you. Type thyroid if the final cause surprised you. Type liver if the first one hit close to home. One word, that's all. Your comment might be the answer someone else needed to see. Next week, we go deep on the hormone most doctors stop checking after 50, and why that single gap in your blood work could be the missing piece behind years of broken sleep. I'm Dr. Chima Okoye. Your body has been talking. Now you know how to listen.